Indonesia is one of the most significant yet underappreciated nations in the global landscape. With over 275 million inhabitants, it stands as the fourth most populous country in the world and the largest Muslim-majority nation. Spanning more than 17,000 islands over a 5,000-kilometer stretch of ocean, Indonesia is home to over 300 distinct ethnic groups, each practicing a variety of religions. The fact that Indonesia has managed to unify such a diverse and expansive territory into a coherent nation-state is remarkable. However, this achievement is not entirely unprecedented. Long before the rise of modern Indonesia, there existed a powerful thalassocracy that played a significant role in shaping the region's history. Today, we delve into the origins, culture, and history of the Majapahit Empire, a Hindu-Buddhist kingdom that mastered the seas and laid the foundation for the modern Indonesian state. While the Majapahit Empire was the largest and wealthiest of Indonesia's pre-modern states, its success was built on the rich cultural and political heritage of the island of Java. Java has long been the heart of the Nusantara archipelago, and even today, it is the most densely populated island on the planet, with a population exceeding 150 million. This densely populated island has always been a hub of activity, serving as the birthplace of many of Indonesia's most influential states. The ancestors of modern Javanese people were the Austronesians, a seafaring people who arrived on Java around 3,500 years ago. These early settlers quickly adapted to their new environment, utilizing their seafaring skills to dominate the surrounding seas and establish prosperous communities. Java's volcanic soil, enriched by the island's 18 active volcanoes, made it one of the most fertile lands in the world, perfect for agriculture. This natural abundance allowed Java to support a large population and develop into a center of culture and power in Southeast Asia. Java's location made it a critical player in the Maritime Silk Road, which connected China with the ancient civilizations of India, Persia, and Arabia. The island's position at the gateway to the Malacca Strait made it a crucial hub for trade, particularly in spices like cloves, nutmeg, pepper, and mace. These spices were in high demand across the world, reaching as far as the Roman Empire. Java's control over these valuable resources allowed it to grow wealthy and powerful, with its kingdoms achieving a level of prestige that few could match. Java's interaction with the outside world brought more than just wealth. It also brought new ideas, technologies, and religions. While the Austronesians were originally animists, constant contact with Indian traders and scholars led to the adoption of Hinduism and Buddhism. By the 8th century AD, Javanese rulers began to portray themselves as divine kings, or Devaraja, claiming a connection to the Hindu gods Vishnu and Shiva. This led to the construction of grand religious monuments like Borobudur, the largest Buddhist structure in the world, and Prambanan, one of the largest Hindu temples in Southeast Asia. Despite these new influences, traditional animist beliefs persisted, blending with the new religions to create a unique spiritual landscape in Java. While India was a source of spiritual and cultural inspiration, China was the political and economic powerhouse that influenced Java's rulers. For much of history, China was the center of gravity for all of Asia, and even distant Java felt its pull. Javanese kings often sought to legitimize their rule by aligning themselves with China, either by accepting its nominal overlordship, or, as in the case of the Majapahit, by defying it. The rise of Majapahit. The story of Majapahit's ascent begins with one of history's most formidable rulers, Kublai Khan, the great Khan of the Mongol Empire and emperor of China's Yuan dynasty. In the late 1280s, Kublai Khan, ruling over a vast empire, expected all neighboring states to acknowledge his supremacy. At this time, the most powerful kingdom on Java was Singhasari, ruled by the Buddhist warrior king Kertanagara. Under Kertanagara's leadership, Singhasari had rapidly expanded its territory, controlling the critical trade routes of the Malacca Strait. Kublai Khan, concerned about Singhasari's growing power, demanded that Kertanagara increase his tribute to the Yuan court and send royal hostages as a sign of submission. Kertanagara, however, was not one to bow to foreign demands. He not only refused Kublai Khan's orders, but also humiliated the Mongol envoys by mutilating them. Kublai Khan responded as expected, by assembling a punitive expedition. In 1293, a fleet of 1,000 ships carrying 20,000 men set sail for Java to punish Kertanagara. However, by the time the fleet arrived, Kertanagara had already been overthrown and killed by a rebellious vassal, Jayakatwang, the Prince of Kediri. The Yuan commanders, upon their arrival, found themselves in a complex situation. Raden Wijaya, Kertanagara's son-in-law and a leader of the Majapahit faction, saw an opportunity. He approached the Yuan generals with a proposal. If they helped him overthrow Jayakatwang, he would submit to Kublai Khan and pay tribute to the Yuan dynasty. The Yuan forces agreed, and together they defeated Jayakatwang. However, Raden Wijaya had no intention of becoming a vassal. Once the Yuan forces were weakened from battle, he turned against them, launching a guerrilla campaign. The Yuan commanders, faced with unfamiliar terrain, mounting losses, and the imminent end of the monsoon season, which would leave them stranded, decided to withdraw. Raden Wijaya's cunning and strategic brilliance had paid off. With the Yuan forces gone, he crowned himself the ruler of a new state, the Majapahit Empire. Despite this promising start, the Majapahit faced challenges. After Raden Wijaya's death in 1309, his son Jayanagara ascended the throne. His reign, however, was marred by scandal and rebellion. Historical accounts depict Jayanagara as a tyrant, leading to widespread unrest. His rule came to a tragic end in 1328, when he was assassinated by his surgeon during a medical procedure. With no heirs, the throne passed to his sister, Daya-Gitarya, marking a new chapter in the history of Majapahit. The queen who succeeded in stabilizing the Majapahit realm proved far more capable than her brother, achieving this feat with the crucial assistance of her prime minister, Gajah Mada. Known as the Elephant General, Gajah Mada stands out as one of the most formidable military leaders in Indonesian history, comparable to what Belisarius was to the Byzantine Empire. Upon his appointment in 1336, Gajah Mada famously swore the Palapa Oath, pledging to abstain from spice until he had brought all the outer islands of the Nusantara archipelago under Majapahit dominion. True to his word, Gajah Mada began his conquests by leading a Majapahit fleet to capture Bali in 1343. However, it was only after Queen Daya-Gitarya abdicated in favor of her son, Hayam Wuruk, that Gajah Mada truly came into his own. Over the following decade, he expanded Majapahit's influence across the archipelago, subjugating numerous states and bringing them under Majapahit's control. By the time of Gajah Mada's death in 1364, the Majapahit Empire had reached its zenith, becoming a maritime superpower that ruled over a vast network of vassal kingdoms spanning thousands of islands and over 5,000 kilometers of ocean. This made it one of the largest empires of its time and the most extensive in pre-colonial Southeast Asia. The Majapahit Empire, at its height, controlled the fertile rice terraces of Java, the vital shipping lanes of Malacca, and the spice-rich islands of Maluku. This made it an agricultural powerhouse, a maritime juggernaut, and potentially one of the wealthiest empires in the world. Its commercial network stretched across the seas, maintaining trade links with the Vijayanagara Empire in South India and numerous Southeast Asian nations, including Champa, Dai Viet, the Ayutthaya Empire, and the Khmer Empire. Even China re-engaged in a tributary relationship with Majapahit after the native Ming dynasty succeeded the Mongol Yuan rulers. Majapahit's dominance was not solely economic. The empire also boasted a formidable navy, with its primary warship being the sturdy yet agile Jong, a vessel capable of standing against any European ship from the age of exploration. The Majapahit navy could field up to 400 Jongs, supported by countless smaller ships. Additionally, the empire was wealthy enough to maintain a standing army of 30,000 professional soldiers, including infantry, charioteers, and elephant riders. With contributions from its vassals across the archipelago, Majapahit could muster an army of up to 200,000 troops, a staggering number for an era when European armies rarely exceeded a few thousand. After the introduction of gunpowder to Java during the Mongol invasion of 1293, Majapahit quickly adapted, becoming a leading force in firearm warfare in Southeast Asia. One of the most iconic Javanese weapons from this period is the chetbang, a type of bronze hand cannon used by Gajah Mada in his conquests. During Hayam Wuruk's golden reign, the Majapahit royal court became renowned for its extravagance. The king himself was said to participate in the grand performances of the era, donning a golden mask to perform topeng, a complex ritual dance that took years to master. As per the Devaraja tradition, Majapahit rulers derived their right to rule as incarnations of gods on earth, reflecting the divine's place in the cosmos. Raden Wijaya, the founder of the Majapahit dynasty, was posthumously depicted as Harihara, a synthesis of the deities Shiva and Vishnu. Throughout its golden age, the Majapahit Empire was a global center of culture and learning. Its capital, Trowulan, was a thriving cosmopolitan hub, where traders and diplomats from China, Bengal, Gujarat, Persia, and beyond mingled. Even European adventurers like the Franciscan friar Odoric of Pordenone added to the cultural diversity of the Majapahit domain. Religious life flourished, with Buddhism and Hinduism coexisting harmoniously, leaving a lasting architectural legacy with the construction of grand temples known as Kandi, many of which, like the magnificent Kandi Penataran, still grace the Javanese landscape. However, no empire is eternal, and the Majapahit Empire's decline came with the spread of Islam. Much like Hinduism and Buddhism before it, Islam spread through trade rather than conquest, introduced by merchants from Arabia, Persia, India, and Muslim communities in China. While Muslim traders had been present in the Nusantara archipelago for centuries, it was only in the 14th century that Islam gained a significant following among the local population. As Islam grew in prominence, it undermined the Majapahit king's authority, as their spiritual legitimacy was rooted in being seen as incarnations of Hindu and Buddhist deities, a concept rejected by Islam's monotheism. In 1389, the death of King Hayam Wuruk after a 49-year reign presented an opportunity for the empire's rivals. Parameswara, the Hindu Raja of Singhapura, a vassal state, declared independence from Majapahit. In response, Majapahit forces attacked, forcing Parameswara into exile. He eventually fled to the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula, where he converted to Islam, adopting the name Sri Iskandar Shah, and founded the Sultanate of Malacca. This new sultanate prospered with the support of Zheng He, the most celebrated Chinese admiral. Between 1405 and 1433, Zheng He led 7 voyages across the seas, all of which passed through Java and the Malacca Strait. In 1411, Paramaswara accompanied Zheng He to China to pay homage to the Yongle Emperor in Beijing. Political relations with China had long been crucial to Southeast Asia's balance of power. Throughout the early 15th century, Chinese protection allowed the Malacca Sultanate to flourish, while Majapahit entered a period of gradual decline. A succession crisis in 1405 led to a civil war that weakened the empire's control over its overseas vassals. In the following decades, client rulers in Sumatra, Borneo, and the eastern islands successfully broke away from Majapahit's control. Meanwhile, the Malacca Sultanate quickly surpassed Majapahit as the region's primary trading hub and actively promoted the spread of Islam, further eroding the power of the Hindu-Buddhist monarchy. Yet, the final demise of Majapahit did not come at the hands of the Malacca Sultanate. Zheng He, a devout Muslim, helped establish Muslim communities on Java's northern coast during his voyages. By 1475, these communities had united to form the Sultanate of Demak, the first Muslim state on Java. By 1527, this sultanate had conquered the remnants of the Majapahit Empire, forcing the last Hindu-Buddhist rulers to flee to Bali and extinguishing the final embers of an empire that had once dominated maritime Southeast Asia. Though the Majapahit Empire has long since fallen, its legacy lives on in modern Indonesia. In the 21st century, the Majapahit era is celebrated in Indonesian history, much like the Achaemenid Empire in Iran or the Roman Empire in Italy. The Majapahit's historical conquests are often seen as laying the foundation for the modern borders of the Republic of Indonesia. Bali, as the last stronghold of native Hinduism in the Nusantara archipelago, regards itself as the cultural heir of the Majapahit legacy. Even in predominantly Muslim Java, efforts continue to preserve the cultural heritage of their Hindu-Buddhist ancestors. Today, Indonesia's national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity, reflects the Majapahit Empire's enduring influence, symbolizing a legacy of religious tolerance and cultural diversity as Indonesia embraces its identity as a modern, multicultural nation and an emerging economic leader on the global stage.